Episode 15. Intending to make this the last one of my session, though I'm not sure where the main quest will leave me off. Hopefully it'll be a good cutoff point for ending things here. In the break in between, I decided to take a moment to double check if the NPCs that join you in Stasha might have anything interesting to say while going through that quest. I didn't get very far, but I did confirm that the NPCs do have voice lines unique to the dungeon, even if the NPCs themselves aren't notable in any way. Still debating if I want to continue with NPCs or real players in the Realm Reborn, but it seems like going with real players may be the way to go for now. There's probably no need to save money by using the airship instead of directly teleporting to Gridania. But while my coin purse is still so light, I feel like I should save money where I can. Take a seat wherever you like, friend. Our waitress will come and take your... Oh, not here to dine? Dare I hope you're that adventurer Batteren sent word about? You are? The matron will be praised. Oh, the matron be praised. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mion, and the Carline Canopy is my place. With regard to the task in question, there is a fair bit to tell. Let me know when you're ready to hear the details, and I shall brief you. Those items. Ether will hardly be useful on the Black Mage class, considering how much MP you burn through and regenerate. In general, these items aren't very useful in any sort of gameplay. Maybe high-level potions might come in handy for high-end content. But in case there's a reason that this might save us, I'll set it to the hotbar. Ready for that briefing? Good. Now then, here's the long and short of it. Beg pardon for interrupting, Mion, but our need grows ever more pressing. Have none stepped forward? Good evening to you too, Bowlord. Your need must be pressing indeed for you to honor us with a visit. The good news is, your journey hasn't been wasted. I'm pleased to report that we have a volunteer at last, and one who comes highly recommended at that. My thanks for answering the call, my friend. My name is Lewin, and I lead the men and women of the God's Quiver. Now, time is of the essence, so I shall proceed directly to the heart of the matter. We wish you to nip a potential threat to Gridania in the bud. Beneath the central shroud, there lies an underground burial site called Tomtara Deepcroft. The place was once a Gelmoran settlement, but we Gridanians have long interred our dead there. Of late, however, shadowy figures have been skulking about the Deepcroft, and with ever-increasing regularity. Based on the accounts of various witnesses, we suspect that these individuals belong to the Lambs of Dalamud, a doomsday cult which sprung up prior to the calamity. These zealots have proven themselves dangerous in the past, and we leave them to their own devices at our peril. Ordinarily, I would have dispatched my best men to scour the Deepcroft with orders to flush the cultists out. Alas, the calamity decimated our ranks, and the limited forces at my disposal are constantly required to keep the Ixal at bay. The birdmen have grown restless of late, and I fear a storm may be brewing. In anticipation of this, I have been compelled to spread our forces throughout the 12th Wood, lest we be taken unawares. The situation so being, we must turn to others to deal with the Lambs of Dalamud. Can we rely on you to undertake this task, my friend? You have my gratitude. Once you've seen to your preparations, pray make your way to the Deepcroft, and identify yourself to the guard posted at the entrance. He will apprise you of the latest developments, that's all. Be careful out there, you hear? May the crystal guide you and keep you. While we're here, we can continue for the aesthetician. What is this, story time? Greetings, adventurer, and welcome to the forest nation of Gridania. Do you seek greater intimacy with the elementals? If so, it would be my pleasure to assist you. Do tell me about the elementals. After having played through all of the expansions, I couldn't even tell you what those are. The elementals are the eternal guardians of the 12th Wood. Since time immemorial, they have watched over the forest and all life within, ensuring that the balance of nature is preserved. By an ancient covenant, man was permitted to reside in the 12th Wood. Thus was the nation of Gridania born, some 5 centuries ago. Alas, the elementals were gravely weakened during the calamitous events that ushered in the 7th Umbral Era. Mere mortals though we be, it now falls to us to protect the forest with body, mind, and spirit. Oh, that's all we want to hear out of him. I think this guy had enough too. While we're here, I think I'll pick up another minion. I like the bomb well enough, but having it float around in front of the screen all the time is going to be a little bit annoying. This thing is a lot bigger when you're a Lalafell. I'm sure it could feed a Lalafell for several days, as emergency rations. There is no entrance on this side. message from John Delane, you say? So he's lost another one. Does the man not understand that wood doesn't simply grow on, actually it does, at least in a manner of speaking. But the fact remains that resources are in short supply. For all his flowery words, if his tools were truly an extension of his very being, one would think he'd find a way to hold on to them for more than a fortnight or two. John Delane's skills are not to be doubted, but his temperament leaves much to be desired. Still, it is not my place to judge. Take this to him and let us both hope that he will right his ways. What are you doing in the corner? How does he do it? Such clean cuts, and alacritous assembly. I cannot hope to mimic such mastery. Will this NPC just sit in the corner their entire life? Well, some people are like that. Seems like this other exit will take us there quicker. Rather than teleport directly out, I think I'll take the main path over to the quest marker. We have yet to take in the sights of the area surrounding Redania. That might be hard to do at night though. Another blue quest here, this time for the Gridania set of apartments. We might as well complete that while we're in the area. Speaking of in the area, okay, that's probably enough for these guys. The Bannock is to the southeast of here. If it is Bent Branch Meadows you seek, cross the bridge and follow the road south. Should you decide to venture over the bridge, be warned that the creatures in that neck of the woods are far more deadly in nature than the pests found in the shadow of the city walls. I guess this line demarks the beginner area from the slightly above beginner area. How is our equipment after that first dungeon anyway? No worse for wear. It might be that only dying really diminishes your equipment durability. before we pick up that quest. Can you tell me more about the meadow? Wander where you will, adventurer, but know that the forest will not suffer those who do not belong beneath its boughs to remain forever. Not very welcoming. I did say there's at least one NPC near the Aetherite that tells you about the area that you're in. But I might have been wrong about that. Or the NPC isn't quite as apparent as I imagined. I don't suppose there's too much to get lore-wise about Benbranch Meadows. It's a farm, right outside of Gridania. Correct me if I'm wrong, but are you not an adventurer? I've seen you running to and fro, face setting grim determination as adventurers are wont to do, hence my presumption. If so, I've information which might interest you. Rumor has it that plots within the lavender beds are to be auctioned off. What's more, bidders not even need be Gridanian. Any old adventurer or wandering minstrel could, with sufficient funds, purchase land and build their own home. Considering how discerning the elementals tend to be about who can and cannot reside within the Twelve's Wood, it's rather surprising, if not hard to believe. But if there is truth to these rumors, well, who hasn't dreamed of owning their own forest cottage? Perhaps with a small vegetable garden and a stable large enough for a chocobo or two. You know, should your travels take you to the Mirror Planks, where the ferry to the Lavender Beds is, perhaps you'll find a Twin Adder representative who can tell you more. I would be shocked if they weren't involved in such a monumental change in policy. That's somewhat in the direction we're heading in. We can stop by there. Komori, of course, is still sore about not being able to secure housing in Ul'dah. Maybe this prospect will fare better. Of course, it won't, but Komori doesn't know that yet. It's interesting seeing a lot of people on foot. I'm used to everyone flying about as quick as they can on their mounts. Even all of these characters that are on foot don't even have their land mount yet. Mirror planks. As best as I can tell, it just seems to be a port on the lake here in Gridania. No real settlements to take note of. A good morrow to you, miss. What can I... Ah, you wish to know about the auctions. Very well, allow me to explain. There is a growing concern that our immigration policies may have been a tad restrictive in the past. And so the Seed Seer Council and the Order of the Twin Adder have, with the blessing of the elementals, decreed that the lavender beds be set aside for adventurers. Adventurers who possess the necessary funds to purchase and maintain their estates, that is. Should you look upon the beds with your own eyes, though, I think you'll agree that it's well worth the price. Have a word with the skipper over yonder. She'll ferry you across. A recruit stationed at the pier can tell you more about the beds once you've arrived. The ferry is bound for the Lavender Bed. Will you be traveling with us? Ignore those prices. Komori still believes that the 2,000 or so gil that she has is enough to buy a house. I'm sure there's a very cheap deal for the adventurers that they're trying to attract into this new housing market. Greetings, adventurer, and welcome to the Lavender Beds. Oh, you've come at the behest of a Gridanian woman? I regret to inform you that these slots are reserved for adventurers. Your friend will not be permitted to take part in the auctions. You, on the other hand, would be more than welcome to participate. Should you have a mind to purchase a plot for yourself, pray speak with a resident caretaker. He can guide you through the process. Now, an area like this is actually far more aesthetically pleasing than Gridania itself. It's actually kind of a shame that this outshines the main hub of a lot of quests. I suppose this is a feature of all the housing areas that you can buy. A nice area to relax and swim around in. It'd be nice if a lot of players gathered here. This would be an aesthetically pleasing social hub. Unfortunately, most people probably just gather around the main cities themselves. Maybe there are some events that go on, depending on who you play with, coming to places like these. I plan to wander around this area until I feel like I've had enough. Like last time, we'll see where the apartments are located in this area, and from there turn back. It's actually quite a colorful place with all the foliage. Much more colorful than Gridania. Welcome to Lily Hill's apartments. Whether you've come with an eye to buy or simply to ask a question, my services are at your disposal. Turned down yet again. Komori is pissed. To save the trip, we'll teleport right away. Good to see you again, friend. Did you learn anything about the lavender beds? Oh, adventurers only? Is that so? Well, these are trying times, and it's more important than ever for Gridania to attract capable individuals like yourself. I'm sure that one day my dreams will come to fruition. One day, I'll have my own cottage and stables, filled with my beloved chocobos. Residential district Aetherite, or Aethernet. I didn't actually know that. You could teleport directly from the city-state. I know that once you get an apartment or a house, you get an option directly in your menu to teleport directly to your home. But I had no idea it was available from the city-state Aetherite. We're just passing through. The fellows we ran into back in Limsel Mensa. Interesting. I probably had no idea who these people were when I was playing through the first time, but paying a bit more attention to the names of the people that we're running into, I feel like I'll be able to follow their plot lines a little bit closer. Gods, I hate mausoleums. It's not right to disturb the dead in their slumber. Think of our goal, sister. One day our adventures will be the stuff of song, and it will all be worth it. So we meet again. I cannot say I'm surprised to see you here. You took the prize back in Limsa, but this time we will give you better sport, for I am no true adventurer. Ah, and here are my two favorites. I shudder to think what might have happened to Isildur had I not thought to pick the fruit I stumbled across on the way here. Sometimes he has too much vigor for his own good. Age is supposed to mellow us, but if anything, it has made him more impetuous. I understand his desire to make use of the time left to him, but one misstep, and there won't be any. And it's raining. Childish curiosity prompted me to commit the most elementary of blunders. Were it not for the fruit that Elion found, my adventurers may well have ended in this forbidding place. Always look before you leap. In my haste, this most fundamental rule of adventuring slipped my mind. I do believe I shall rest here a while. Out in the rain, no less. That's terrible. We'll be heading indoors. Oh, this is a dungeon then. I had forgotten. I didn't actually expect us to do another dungeon so quickly after Sastasha. Later on, dungeons are a bit more spaced apart. They're actually kind of predictable in that way. Maybe for a Realm Reborn, after they gave you access to dungeons, they wanted you to acclimate yourself to it. So they gave you several to contend with as soon as you have access to one. You're Komori Moriko, I take it. Thanks for helping us out, friend. No doubt the Bow Lord has already informed you, but your task is to enter the Deep Croft and purge it of the Lambs of Dalamud. In case you're unfamiliar with them, the cult emerged shortly before the Calamity put an end to the 6th Astral Area. The cultists took the Lesser Moon Dalamud for their god, believing that it would deliver them from devastation. And so they were rather disappointed when Dalamud exploded into 1,000 flaming pieces before it could complete its descent. Now, having seen their god turn to ash, one would think that the cultists might feel moved to question their faith. On the contrary, it served only to stoke the flames of their fanaticism. The Lambs of Dalamud are convinced that heretics, that is to say, everyone but them, interfered with the coming of their Lord and Savior, and that it's now their sacred duty to avenge him. Whatever it is they're doing in the Deep Croft, you may be sure that no good will come of it. For the sake of Gridania and Eorzea at large, put an end to their madness. And the NPCs we may enter with are the same NPCs from Sastasha, which is to say the nameless ones, but I imagine if you enter this with them, you'd be able to, I don't know, put together some consistent thread of their personalities and what they're doing in these dungeons. It might be worth it to experiment with that, but I think for my own playthrough, I'll probably play around with real humans just to enjoy this experience a little bit more. That's probably the intended way a online game should be played anyway. Go ahead and start the duty finding. Duty roulette lets you access duties, random ones as well. We'll see if we can clear this quickly like we did Sastasha. I suppose I'll cut back in when we're ready to enter. And we're back in. If this is anything like Sastasha, it should go by quickly, so hopefully this won't run the timer too long. suppose we can actually take a look at what's going on in this dungeon. The layout is surrounding this main altar in the center, and it takes you around the perimeter, disabling whatever these beams of light are. No good. Who summons me from the void to reside within this crude vessel? Come hither, children of the dawn. The undying master will drink deep tonight. Not the first void scent that Komori has seen. I'd say the look of this boss is a bit more interesting than the previous one, which was basically just a big fish. without ever taking the step we're about to win. We should actually see about improving our own portrait. Something I'll probably do in a break. Are those NPCs still waiting outside? I suppose they went home. Let's check in with Mother Mione. I'm glad that wrapped up as quickly as I hoped. I don't want to make a habit of running on too long. Welcome back, Homori. I'm reliably informed that your foray into the Deep Croft was a success. Nor did I expect anything less. Badarin's ringing endorsement left me in little doubt as to your capabilities. Even so, you are to be commended. Lord Lewin asked me to pass on his thanks. I must say it's something of a relief to be able to call upon such a capable adventurer. Sadly, death has become an ever more common occurrence within our fraternity of late. Times being what they are, the guild is constantly inundated with petitions, and we are hard-pressed to find enough hands to deal with them all. While this means no shortage of work for able souls such as yourself, it also provides ample opportunity for the inexperienced to overreach themselves, with predictable consequences. As if to illustrate the point. Navir's gone, and it's all your fault. If it hadn't taken you an age to heal him, he would still be alive. But I tried. He bolted out of range before I could finish the spell. He shouldn't have been so hard-pressed in the first place. We should have done more to lighten his burden. Bah, to hell's with this pathetic excuse for a party. I'm leaving, and it'd be too soon if I never see your faces again. Goodbye and good riddance. I'm leaving as well. I doubt this comes as any surprise, but I never liked you. I only suffered you for your healing, but you couldn't even do that one thing right. Cruel though this may sound, you brought this upon yourself. Oh, and by the way of some parting advice, get rid of Edvir's head. Bury it, cremate it, do whatever the hells you like with it. But for God's sake, stop carrying it around. It's just get rid of it, alright? Wait, don't leave me alone, please. I'm so sorry, Edvir. Please forgive me. Scenes like this have become all too common. That makes a dozen times in half as many days. Now you see why I'm grateful for adventurers of your experience. I can send women like you on a mission without worrying that you might not return. Well, not so much at any rate. Speaking of missions, I would entrust you with another. About a bell ago, I received a message from my counterpart in Ul'dah. She seeks the services of a reliable adventurer, and you are nothing if not reliable. If you think you might be interested in this task, say the word. I will be glad to share the details with you. If I'm understanding this pattern, that'll be another dungeon, the Seminole Daw. I had intended to make this the last of my session, but it might be a nicer cutoff point to finish up that dungeon. That party that we saw in the cutscene was of course the same party outside of Sistasha that didn't seem well put together. I always thought of them as a kind of warning for players of the game, blaming other people in their party when things go wrong. A kind of example of how not to act when playing with other players, blaming other people for your own mistakes or the other way around. Before we head over to the next quest, now would be a good time to take a break.